telling you every time we about go at the same time.
It's okay. Well, I'm hoping that one day, like, it'll be the exact same time, but it's also we have the same emotion behind it.
Yeah, we do. So it just kind of runs together.
Yeah, like,
and then it's also a different word,
yeah, every time. Welcome or hello.
I'll say hello and you say welcome, and it's 2 in 1.
There you go.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Hi. This week we're gonna be talking about Katie's
My testimony. Yeah, we're going kind of in the same way Shelby did, just explaining everything, why I am me. But
and then after this episode we'll get back and more into what we have normally done in the past. But these 2 episodes we just wanted to let y'all get to know us a little more.
Because the first time we had talked about anything, first off, it was over a year ago, and it was in the same episode, so it felt rushed.
Very rushed.
So we just wanted to separate it and actually allow you guys to, allow for us to actually fully explain our lives a little bit more, so that y'all understand kind of why we are where we are and our relationships with God. So
with that in mind, let's get into it.
What's up, guys? So, like we said, I'm going to be sharing my testimony today, and it's kind of, I guess it's pretty average, because you hear about, I guess, this a lot, but I'm gonna just start from, whenever I was little, when I was born, which y'all have heard this before. I wasn't supposed to live. They said there was a 90% chance for me on living because I had these air pockets on my lungs, and the surgery was just going to be like too strenuous, and I just wasn't going to be able to make it through. But, I had to be airlifted to Jackson, and while that was happening, which the two really important people in my life would be my grandfather and my mom. Well, while I was being flown to Jackson, my grandfather was racing the helicopter, and my mom was in the church. She got up out of the bed, which she had a C-section. She was also cut open. She got up out of her bed, and she went to the church in the hospital, and she started praying. And she just stayed, in prayer with God, asking him to not take me away, to just give me a chance. And, whenever the doctors were prepping me, they brought the surgeons and stuff in, to look at what, they had seen, but they were gone. And everything was fine. I didn't even have to go, I didn't even have to have surgery or anything. They just kept me for 2 weeks in the hospital for observation, making sure that my oxygen levels were good and that I was a healthy baby. And I was. My grandfather stayed pretty much the whole 2 weeks. He slept. Of course they have visiting hours. And whenever he could visit me, he was in there. And whenever he couldn't, he slept on either the chairs outside, the waiting room chairs, or a pool floaty. So, he stayed there with me, and he also, was very much in communication with God in that whole time period, because he tells me all the time that like I'm his baby, I'm his miracle baby, and like I said, him and my mom are very important. And so, fast forward, I guess, and on into my life. So my dad was kind of absent, you know, like he was in and out. So he would like up and decide one day that he wanted to be a part of my life, mine and my brother's life, because my older brother, which, like I said, y'all have heard this before, my older brother and me, we have the same dad, and then my younger brother has a different dad. So it was kind of me and my brother, you know, my older brother, we were really close, and it took a toll on both of us whenever he would come back and forth. And so as I got older, it kind of affected my mind a little bit, my mental state, because, you know, whenever you look at a father figure, a father, you know, it's someone who's supposed to take care of you, to protect you, and to love you, especially a father to their daughter. They're supposed to cherish you, and mine didn't. And so that affected me a lot growing up. I mean, I've never hated him. I've never, you know, necessarily disliked him. I've wanted to, but I I can't because I love him too much, and just in the back of my mind wanted him to love me as much as I loved him. Um but that wasn't the case. He had his own struggles and still has his own battles that he deals with. And you know, I just keep a distance and let him do his own thing. Um, so I kind of I have to, because I have to protect my peace a little bit. But there's that, and then my mom got remarried whenever she was younger to my little brother's dad. And well, no, she never married my dad, so she didn't get remarried at all. She just got married. Um, but she married him, and he was my stepdad. He was the only father figure I had had other than my grandfather. And you know, I've talked about him before too, and there were good moments, but there were also times where he was very verbally abusive um, to us and my mom, and he just wasn't. He was there, but he wasn't present all the time. You know, like you could tell he'd much rather be working and doing other things than being with us. And, you know, it's always just been me, my brothers, and my mom, where we have a very tight relationship. And so years go by, you know, that was also another person that walked out of our lives. You know, I mean, my mom has her own story to tell and her own testimony, but, you know, she also longed for someone to just take care of her, not only her, but her kids. And that's not a lot to ask for. My mom was never asking for much. And it's like she could never get someone just to take care of her and what she did. You know, it never happened. And we saw that. We grew up watching our mom being taken for granted, and she had to play both roles. She had to be mom and dad. She had to support us because we never fully had it from anyone else. And we had to watch that abuse go on, you know, and her talk about herself in a way that just doesn't make sense, because she would be so upset with herself thinking that she did something, and then it would make her think that she wasn't a good mom, you know. And I say this because a lot of what I've watched her go through has affected me a lot as far as my mental state and where I'm at. It's almost like, I don't know if it's actually a thing, but secondhand trust issues. So like, not only have I had people walk out on me, um, but I've seen people treat her in ways that I would not want to be done to me. So, and that way I kind of step back from people and kind of guard myself from people. Um, I don't want to be close to anybody because there's always that thought in the back of my head that I'm going to lose them, that they're going to walk away from me. Excuse me. But I know you can't be that way because there are people who are genuine and do care, but you know, it's not just with these people, it's been a lot of people. I mean, throughout my life that have told me things and promised me things, and I've believed it, and it kind of just got, you know, I basically got stabbed in the back, you know, by these people that I thought loved me. And I guess that was one of the things that I shouldn't have believed, was that they really loved me, because the things they did isn't something you would do to somebody you really love. So I have a lot that has kind of put me in a position to crave a relationship with God. I never really went to the world for things, because I didn't find comfort in that. I didn't want to associate myself with that, because I mean, I was kind of, I guess, a loner growing up. I mean, I had friends or whatever, but I was still to myself more than I was like anything else. But
You were very quiet when we first met. Like it took a good bit for you to open up and really trust that in our little youth group, that you were safe and that you could trust us. And I remember that. Like, I remember at D Now, I think that was like one of the first weekends we really got to know each other. And we were at that one's house. And and you told us stories about your life. And I was like, man, I gotta be friends with her. She got a cool life.
Yeah, because my stepdad, he had like near-death experiences. So, like, he had come really close to God himself. So I think, like, and being able to see demons is a spiritual gift, I think, isn't it? Isn't it?
I don't know.
I thought it is. I thought it was something. I don't know what it is. It
might be.
But, he was able to, and my little brother has also seen one or two. I don't know. Anyways, another episode topic.
Yeah.
But which like I said, made everything so much more complicated, especially whenever, you know, he's almost died, and you know, I mean, everybody has their own issues that kind of sets them back. Just like me, I have mine that have set me back multiple times, you know, because like I said this last time, because it's important to me that I remember it, because it hurts knowing that someone can consistently say, I love you, and I promise I'm going to do better for you, and I'm going to take care of you the way that I should. And then the next day, you know, I find out that, you know, you're getting arrested because of something you promised me you weren't going to do again, you know. And it breaks my heart, because every time I try to get closer to you, you pull away. And it broke my heart to have that thrown in my face every single time, and I felt like an idiot because I let it happen every single time. And, you know, like, that's my dad. But God is our Father, and we've done that to him multiple times. Mm-hmm. He has drawn near to us. He has come to us so many times and put himself out there trying to reach out to us, and we consistently pull away. But the difference is he never walks away, and he still loves and he still cares. And that type of feeling that I've had and that I know multiple other people have had is how he feels. It breaks his heart knowing that we walk away from him, knowing that he has something better than what this other thing can provide. And that has always been a big factor in my life. And like I said, I've always craved a relationship with God, and doing for him, like traveling. Traveling has always been in my, future plans. That has always been a thing that I have wanted to do because I want to know that I have at least, allowed one person to experience the love of God and to fully understand how amazing he is. I don't even fully understand how amazing he is because I know I haven't fully allowed myself to experience that because, like I said, I still struggle. I have so many things that I have to fix within myself before I, you know, fully experience that. I know he's great because everything in my life I would not have had or gotten through if it wasn't for the grace of God. Every little thing I wouldn't even rule it as a coincidence because it's on that level of like God did this, in every little aspect of my life, God has been there. And I think wanting that relationship at such a young age had allowed me to see that, instead of thinking, oh, well, it was just this. It was just, we got lucky. We got lucky. And I've even said that, and now it's like, it was never luck. There is no such thing as luck. There's only God. God did that, not four-leaf clover. I mean, so I, and now like having these things happen, I'm grown, I'm more mature. Still have a lot of growing to do, but I still find myself, I don't trust people easily, at all. My friends that I have, which I was literally, I talked to myself a lot, but I was telling myself earlier, I think Shelby is probably the only one that I fully believe that when she says that she's not going to ever leave me, that, we're in this life together, I fully believe that she's not going to.
You can't do this to me right now. I'm going to cry.
No, but I'm just saying, of course I have, my family, and I know they're not going to leave me, but that's my family, but then, and I have friends and stuff, and like I said, I love them to death, but there are some things where I question, I would do everything in my power to make sure that they are happy and that they feel loved by me, and they know that, but there is always a part of me that's like, they're going to leave me one day, and I have to be okay with that because I can't, that's just how it is with me. I don't want to allow myself to have anyone because I don't want my happiness to depend on something that I can lose. And I've protected my peace so much because I'm telling you, my mind is not a good one at the moment. I don't think it ever really has.
See, my brain is a little bit different with the whole friends thing.
It's not even about friends, it's just people in general.
Yeah, well, people. Like, my brain is like, I need to make friends. Because then that's where my happiness comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That's like so that's why I don't have that many friends. That's also why I may have friends like at college, but I don't see them as friends because my whole thing is what friendship is what we have.
Right.
And I don't have that with them.
I don't have that with anybody else either. Like I said, I like we've had deep conversations with I'll say my one other friend that I have. Well, let me think. Oh, we cool, but this one that I'm talking about, we've had very serious conversations about like we both struggle with the thought of I know you love me, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I feel like you're gonna eventually leave me one day. And like, which I mean, she's one that I'm pretty like close to reason because of how deep we have gotten, and we also share some of the same experiences. Um, and she just it's kind of weird with that. Like, I mean, we're good, no doubt, but I don't know. It's a complicated thing, but I'm still trying to figure out people and trying to figure out people while not fully understanding you
Yeah.
is very hard. Cuz I'm still learning about everything, and like I said, you were saying that you don't need to have friends, so I guess cuz it'll make you happier or something, but my thing is like talking about the same girl, like I don't talk about my issues, and I've told her this, said I don't talk about them because nobody has ever been able to provide me with an answer that's going to satisfy me, so I'm not going to talk about them. And I'm not going to talk about them to you. I'll talk about them with God because I always have. I mean, when I'm not lying to y'all whenever I tell you that every time there has been a problem or there has like me and my family have had like I don't want to call it tragedies, but we've had kind of like yeah. We've had problems. I've cried like whether it was shower in my room, anywhere, like silently, asking God, I don't know what's going on and I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know we need you. I was like, I need you, please help. And sometimes it'd be like as I got older it was like, okay, God, it's just another battle. Just help us get through it, please. Just help me and mine get through it. And we have. We're here, and I don't my perspective on people turning to the world is different because I've never really turned to the world for things. Um I started having really bad anxiety early on, like which is when I really started seeking God the most, which I think was whenever I was like 12 when I started having really bad panic attacks because I would have them at school. And that's whenever I really started like pulling closer to God. And, my mama had actually talked to her dad and he like gave me the verse Isaiah 41:10, which I think everybody, well, I don't know. I don't know if everybody knows it.
I think I know it. I just don't know like the
It's the so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. For I will strengthen you and uphold you with my righteous right hand. I love it so much. That was the first verse I'd ever memorized, just because every time I would get like that at school, like I'd had to go to the bathroom multiple times, and I went to a school where I was like, no. I'm just like, I'm panicking.
I'm panicking.
I'm gonna start crying and I'm gonna hyperventilate. Like, just let me leave.
So let me go pass out in the bathroom.
But I'd have to I'd have to tell myself that. And I think whenever it hit me hard. My mama got really concerned because I had not ate anything for like over a week. I think I ate like a bag of chips. And that was all I had ate. I was like, I could not. I was struggling very bad. And so I feel like a lot of my growing up, which I mean, I think a lot of people deal very heavily with mental health and just struggling with that in general because your mind is a very powerful thing, and like I said, we have talked about this, and there are so many things you can talk about, but it is because once you believe the lies that your mind tells you, well, the devil, Satan, you believe one of them, it's like it grows. Just like you have a seed of faith, there's also that seed of fear that he instills, and that can also grow, and that is the thorns that takes that seed of faith away. Which I mean, that's two things I've battled with, because that's like one of the biggest emotions is fear, and I've always had that. Just with anything, like the fear of losing my family, the fear of someone walking away from me, the fear of my future, the fear of every little thing, because I can't see what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, so it scares me. And like I don't like watching a new movie because I don't know what's going to happen at the end of it. So like I'll only rewatch the same things, which know that's kind of like, but an example is what I'm trying to give you. and and I'm still learning, I'm still adapting, and right now I'm just really trying to make sure that I build my relationship with God on a solid, firm foundation, because I do not want it to fall. I don't want there to be anything in the way of what I have planned. Of course, I know my plans are completely different than what God has planned, but I feel like there's a sense in you just listen, and what I want to do is what God wants for me, and I'm confident in what God wants for me. Of course, I still have like a lot of factors that come into play, a lot of freaking thorns, but that are in my side, and I'm trying to get them out. But it's just because I know that this is something that God has called me to do. He's called me to do it since I was little, and that is, of course, mission work. Not just across the country, anywhere, everywhere. The world is big. Why can't I start at one end and make my way to the other and make it and do it over and over and over again until the day that I die? Why can't I do that? Why isn't that something that I can't just go and do, Like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because now that I'm older, I feel like I'm just in a routine. And I do not want to be in a routine of like, oh, well, you gotta make money, you gotta live, you gotta survive. Yeah, you need Jesus too. You can't take the money you make with you. I'm not going to be miserable. And I'm not going to jeopardize my relationship with Jesus for a job, for not just a job, but other things. I'm not going to do that, because my relationship is a lot more important to me. That's something that's the only thing that I have, that truly fulfills me. That's the only thing that I've ever had that has truly fulfilled me. And like I said, I've had my battles, I've had my falling outs with God where I've been very distant from Him. And I've had my moments where all I want to do is be surrounded with Him. That's normal. It's going to happen because I am flesh. I'm going to fall short. We all are. And of course, I have my battles in between. I have of course, my mental illness. Everybody's got it. somewhere. I mean,
I'm
everybody.
giving a speech tomorrow about the fact that the therapy is not only for crazy people.
No, it isn't, because everybody needs to talk it out. Sometimes
Talk it out, people.
Because I mean, but not even that, but not just talking it out, but everybody in some way, their mind affects them. I don't know what it is, but even whenever you think, oh no, you're perfect, you're not. And your mind definitely isn't, because it'll deceive you. So will your heart. That's why you're not supposed to follow your heart or your mind, because you're going to fall into a 6-foot deep hole.
Yep.
And then where you at? It's going to start getting hot. I mean, so all I'm saying is you have to. I'm still trying to make sure everything is from the Lord and only Him. And so when I talk about my future, traveling and reaching as many people as I can is a big thing for me. And this has always been a thing where people have like, well, man, you're going to have a family one day. Who said? Who said I'm going to have a family one day? Who said I'm going to have a husband one day? I didn't. Did I say that? No, I didn't. Which I mean, of course, if that happens, great. I love kids. I love what two people can do and what they can create. I adore it. It's amazing to me. Do I want that? No, I don't. And I mean, I remember telling my mama, and I think it kind of surprised her a little bit, because I was like, I don't want that. And I don't plan on having it. I said, so you like when I tell y'all I am perfectly content alone, I am content alone. Matter of fact, I am happy. You know, like I'm okay. I don't need to have a man. I don't need to be married. I don't need that. I don't have to have it. And I mean, I don't see an I'm not saying that you need to be that way or not. This is just me personally. And I think I know so many people said, sorry, oh, you say you're not going to get married. You say you're not going to have kids. I said, boo boo, I'm not. I'm not going to. I do not want that for my life. I don't see that happening for me. And it's not mainly because I don't think that I can't get it. It's just because, like I said, I'm so mentally not okay with people that I don't know. I feel like I would be more toxic trying to create something
That you're not.
Not talking about me, but trying to having a relationship other than like a friendship, you know, like I mean, I've even noticed things that I've done in a friendship that's like, look, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be this way. I'm trying to be different, you know, and I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And I mean, like I said, if it happens for me, it does. Great. Wonderful. If it doesn't, great. Wonderful. I don't want it. And so if I don't want it nor need it, I think God, you know, is still going to back me on that. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
You I'm going to take a page out of my therapist's book. You know you best.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else knows you like you do.
Yeah. Which I think my mom knows me a good bit too, because she gets upset every time I talk about it, because she knows that.
But you don't get upset when you talk about it.
Mm-mm. Only thing I get upset about is I'm gonna have a little nephew, and I just care so much about my family, and thinking about leaving them really gets me, because it's always been me and them. It has always been we're close. When I say we're close, I'd pretty much do anything for them. I mean, except worship the devil, but or
That took a turn. That took a turn.
they would never do that. But I'm just saying, asking me to do something that is blasphemy towards the Lord is what I meant. But it would never come to that because we're all on the same page. They have different futures. They have different goals. Like, I get to see my brother. One of the biggest things he has always asked God for is to have a family, and to have an amazing wife. And now he's having a little boy. And I mean, I couldn't be more happier to see, like I said, everything that's happened. It's been God, nothing but God. And I mean, me and my brother used to talk about it all the time, how he wanted nothing more than to be a dad, to be able to have this family and just not white picket fence life, but that to be able to just provide and love. That's what he wanted. And I thank God every day that I get to see him become what he has always wanted. But I know this has kind of been everywhere, all at once. But all I'm saying is, it's my mind. It has, like, I have so much I want to tell y'all, but like I said, I have so much that I can, take out in each episode. But I just wanted y'all to kind of understand why I am the way I am. And I do still have a lot of growing and maturing mentally to do. I think everybody does, because there's just so many things that happen. But these key people, like my mama and my grandfather, who have encouraged my relationship with God more than anybody. Like, the reason why I want to get into missionary work is because of my grandfather. And I was young whenever he went on his first mission trip. And the way he talked about it and the way he talked about God was something that was very admirable. And I thank him every day for the things that he's done, and for my mom for having a faith like no other. When it came down to it. And so that they have instilled a lot of the Lord's Spirit. They have allowed that to come in, And I am I am who I am because of them, So, I mean, I feel like if I have anything to tell y'all, it would be just to keep going, to keep pushing even though you don't want to, because it does get hard, and it's going to get harder, especially if you're trying to switch from the world to nothing but God. Whenever you're trying to change your focus, and whenever you do that, the world comes at you, life comes at you like a freight train. And I'm telling you, it's not fun, but you have peace, and you're going to get through it. Nothing's ever going to be easy. It's life. It's going to be hard. We're not supposed to have it easy here. If you have it easy, then you're doing something wrong. But just keep going. Keep trusting in the Lord, even whenever it's hard. Because believe it or not, whenever you decide to quit, you'll be right there at the finish line. So just keep going, and keep loving people. Keep worship. Keep having make sure you keep your focus on God. That's what I was trying to say. Gosh. But whenever you keep it on Him, things seem more clear, and things open up. And just spend some time with Him, and
do your Bible recap.
Speaking of that, while I've been doing the Bible recap, we just started 2 Samuel. And right now it's not even about doing it in a year. It's really just about right, spending time with God and learning everything that happened and will happen, and just, take it one day at a time, one verse at a time, and just spend time with God. I mean, he's cool. He's cool. And another verse that I had is still in Isaiah. Imagine that. But I don't know this one fully. I know. Gosh, no. Tell me about it. This Bible is too white. I need to get some in here. I've been in my study Bible so much. This is off white. This is more of ivory. Okay, it's 43, 1 and 2. It says, "But now, says the Lord, he who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." That kind of says enough for itself, so that kind of takes a lot of my fear away whenever I think about the future and things that are tomorrow, when I think about tomorrow. So just, God has you. Don't worry. It'll be okay. Everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. And you'll see whenever you can see the full picture that God has you and that he knows more and he's going to do better for you than you think or imagine.
He's got a purpose for you.
Yes, and it's not just saying that, because I know y'all probably heard that a lot, but believe in it, live in it.
Okay.
That is pretty much it. And like I said, it was kind of everywhere, and I will talk about more. We will both talk about more other things, like personally, and get more into it, and then provide more Bible and stuff with it. But just kind of an understanding of us and our minds and just our story. And this has been great. This has been fun.
Yes. Before we go though, couple of things. Google Form is up. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to fill out the Google form, you can just go into the description and copy and paste, because it won't let me do a link. So just copy and paste into your web browser or whatever. Second thing, if you are in any other of the podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, any of Podbean, whatever, in the description there is a link that you can hit for all our social media accounts, the YouTube account, and the Google form. So, like we say every episode, we love you.
Jesus loves you.
And we hope you have a good night, day, month, week, whatever time you're listening to this. Bye.